Kristi, Noem has got to go. Take a listen.
It's a cloudy day. It's 1 week from the horrifying murder that we all saw on video happen in Minnesota. And it is cloudy because we know that we're weeping at what we're seeing happen around the country. You see, for the last year, as Americans watch the violence and indignity on their phones and televisions, they have come to understand what so many of us already know. DHS, as it's operating, is now a threat to every one of us. But I want to be clear. What is happening today in our communities, it's not an accident, and it's not new. DHS immigration agents, in many cases, are not operating rogue. And I'll tell you why. Because from its establishment, the Department of Homeland Security and ICE has been empowered through a lack of oversight and too much latitude to violate our rights under the pretense of securing our safety. Now, do you feel safe right now? Do you believe that DHS operates with due process? Do you think that they are abiding by the law? Cursing out U.S. citizens, do you think they have respect for the American people? And what you saw on January 7th in Minneapolis is that Americans saw the danger of infusing resources into DHS abuse of power. ICE shot citizen Renee Nicole Good in the face and then called her names. So now we have seen so plainly what DHS can do with its unlimited resources and unchecked power. Funding ICE only fuels our own destruction. We cannot assure our security by sacrificing our humanity, our dignity, or liberty. So what can we do? How do we protect our Constitution? How do we protect our constituents? Well, we have to do three things. One, there has to be consequences for how DHS has abused taxpayer dollars to violate our rights. We must use Congress appropriations power to hold DHS and ICE accountable. Yes, we must oppose new investments, even more money, and demand policy change and reforms. We have to claw back ICE's funding as a natural consequence for DHS's disregard for the rule of law and violations of our rights. Number two, there has to be accountability for every act of violence and lawlessness perpetrated by federal agents on the ground, for every constituent who has been tear gassed, hit with pepper balls, subjected to warrantless arrest and precision and mobilization maneuvers, for those who have been kidnapped and disappeared. We must prosecute the criminals in masks. Number three, we must work together as an organized caucus committed to be the opposition party, even as the minority party, to build the pressure and to also build a case so that we can, in fact, impeach Noem and every single fascist leader so they never, ever hold public office again. Look, I called for her resignation back in April. It feels like 100 years ago. And yes, I have called for impeachment before. But Homeland and every member here wants to make sure we go through a process that actually gets us to the outcome we want. And that is why I'm happy to be working with our leaders here today, with the Committee of Judiciary and Oversight, to ensure that our efforts ultimately do, in fact, lead to her removal. Whether it's by resignation, whether it's by termination, or by impeachment. But Kristi Noem has got to go, and we will do everything in our power to ensure it happens as quickly as possible.
I mean, not only Kristi Noem, but also you have Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, all of these unqualified, underqualified people, they really have to go. The sooner the better.
I, too, would like to thank the chairman in waiting, ranking member currently, for being so courageous and bold as to take us in this direction. His leadership is invaluable. His stewardship has proven to us that he is the right person in the right place at the right time. And today, we the people, by the way, we are the we and we the people. Today, we the people would like the world to know that what happened to Ms. Good is an injustice that will not go without accountability. We must remember that the BBC has reported, the wife of Ms. Good has said, we had whistles, they had guns. We had whistles, they had guns. We might also note that Ms. Noem, immediately after the shooting took place, concluded that Ms. Good was a terrorist. It's been said by many of my colleagues. I agree. This is what she said, a domestic terrorist. Friends, if Ms. Renee Nicole Good can be labeled, styled, captioned a domestic terrorist, any one of us can. Any one of you can become a domestic terrorist.
So anybody who wants to have their rights in front of a federal agent and use that right, whether it is not to talk to them, or if they choose to walk away, run away, drive away, then you become a domestic terrorist. This is unbelievable. This is where it is getting. This is where the narrative is getting.
And the fate that she suffered can befall any one of you. If they can do it to her, an American citizen, in her car, saying, I'm not mad at you, pulling away to avoid the tragedy that she suffered, it can happen to any one of us. So we have a duty, a responsibility, and an obligation, a moral obligation, to make sure that we do all that we can to get justice for Miss Renee Nicole Good. And that justice includes a thorough investigation. Notably, the Trump Justice Department has concluded that it will shut out the locals, shut them out, not allow them to have access to information. This says to me, Al Green, one member of Congress, I speak for no one except myself and anybody who agrees with me. It says to me that they are setting us up to prevent the officers or officer from being properly charged. And if he is charged and convicted, they're setting us up to understand that what happened here at the nation's capital, when it was encroached upon by hundreds of people, some say thousands, and afterwards, people were convicted, more than 1,500. And the President of the United States, immediately upon being put into office, decided that he would allow all of them to go free by way of his pen and an order. I believe the President is preparing us so that he can do exactly again what he did to those hundreds of people who performed an insurrection here on the Capitol. He is going to exonerate them by way of an executive order.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. 1 week ago, Renee Good had the courage to show up to support her neighbors and help her community withstand the unnecessary mass deployment of ICE officers and federal agents into Minneapolis. She was peaceful, she was well-intentioned, she was calm and friendly, telling the officers circling her, "I'm not mad at you." And for that, having the audacity to be a fearless woman and for trying to remove herself from the tense situation Donald Trump and Secretary Noem ICE manufactured and escalated, an ICE officer shot her 3 times and killed her. Renee Good was a mother of 3 children. She was a wife, a writer, a poet, a devoted Christian, and a U.S. citizen. She was a human being. She was a newcomer to the city of Minneapolis, but she had the kindness of heart and devotion to welfare of strangers to want to support her new neighbors. In the words of her wife, we honor Renee's memory by living her values, rejecting hate, and choosing compassion, turning away from fear and pursuing peace, refusing division and knowing what we must come together to build a world where we all can come home safe to the people we love, unquote.
Today, we are honoring the life and memory of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3, a writer, and a poet. Renee's mother remembers her as one of the kindest people she's ever known. For anyone who knew her, says Renee spent her life caring for others, always putting their needs first. Her deep love for community drove her to stand up for her immigrant neighbors. She had just dropped off her 6-year-old son off at school and was serving as a legal observer when she was murdered by an ICE agent in South Minneapolis. ICE's reckless actions have taken a mother from 3 children, a partner from a wife, and inflicted unfathomable pain on our community. My deepest condolences go to Renee's family, friends, and anyone who loved her. We will not stop fighting until we achieve real justice and accountability. That must begin with impeaching Kristi Noem and ensuring no federal agent can act as a judge, jury, and executioner on our streets. It must also include full and transparent investigation and legal action against ICE. While we grieve, our community, as always, has shown up for one another with love. ICE officers have been struck by solidarity and care Minnesotans have shown for their neighbors. In the face of state-sanctioned violence, we have organized and protected each other. That is what Renee stood for. She died because she chose love and solidarity over fear, and we will make sure the world never forgets her name.
This whole thing looks like, to me, straight out of Hollywood movie. You know, those gangsters roaming on the streets. I've never seen government employees doing exactly that. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section and subscribe to my channel.